all game long and will be nothing but trouble for West Virginia Mountaineers here this evening.
Soren Stosha, the center official tonight, gets the whistle blown, and we are ready to go here. Kentucky starting with the kickoff. They'll be wearing the all-white, and West Virginia in the navy with the yellow numbers there. Michaela Woods getting on the ball early, sending it across early, and now cleared away. There's Ingleton with a little intervention to get it, and now it's popped back out. West Virginia trying to clear their lines. Ajane rest pass there, holding things up and laying it off. Down the line, there's Taylor White going right at Catherine Truitt. Truitt wins out in that duel. And here's Philpotts. We highlighted her in the starting lineup, and she is one of the best dribblers on the field at outside back.
Good, and Gallagher just finding a way.
Pops down to Kemp. Why not have a try from there? A little bit wide, but Mackenzie Smith at least dove for it just in case.
Good, bright start from Kentucky. Nice and early, getting themselves high and wide against this West Virginia defense and getting something on target nice and early.
And we highlighted Maddie Kemp in the open of this broadcast, a player who really finds that space in behind the defense. Sometimes it's in front of them, behind the midfielders. She's just really savvy with the way she moves off the ball.
I mean, you've got a Michaela Woods who plays so high up the field and plays on the shoulder the way that she does. When you've got Maddie Kemp who can sort of pick up that space that Woods inevitably stretches, that can completely destroy teams. And finding those isolated areas with the creativity and the ability she has is beyond threatening.
Tylenda there, the freshman, trying to flick it up and over the defense and make something happen. That one out of play. It's over the head of Gianna Koss, the transfer from Kentucky, coming back to Lexington and doing really well this season for the Mountaineers. Here's Catherine Truitt, back to Philpotts. Long one from Matthijs, looking for Tylenda there. She'll track it down. 1v1. Going right at Gianna Koss again. Crossed in, cleared away. That one's going to roll out of play, and as we get a chance for a little throw-in break here, Gavin, every game we come in, we have you pick out a couple of keys for these teams. What are your keys to the game in this one, or Gavin's goals?
Yeah, hey, on a West Virginia front, I think that midfield battle we talked about, we talked about Lily McCarthy and her ability to run this midfield. I think West Virginia wins that middle, that sort of middle box. Things can go well for them. They can create and they can exploit Kentucky's, sort of lack of pace, I think, at the back, and give Taylor White some space to run into. Then on a Kentucky front, I think it's finding those wide areas. You've got the quality there of Philpotts and of Booker all the way up, both flanks here. If they can get to those areas that we're seeing already early on, they're looking to exploit. They have got bodies crashing the box to go and knock on the door and ask a question of this West Virginia back four.
And Philpotts on one side, Grace Hoytink on the other. And Hoytink's a player. Gretchen Mills not joining us tonight, but I've got you in the co-pilot seat, which I'm appreciative of, Gavin. But Gretchen and I kind of keyed on Grace Hoytink as a player who sometimes gets overlooked because Philpotts, the other Grace on the field, sometimes gets those accolades. She's on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, it's tricky. As a fullback, you're asked primarily to defend, and any ability you have to go and affect things further and further up the field is a big asset.
What a move there, and that's the center back, Michelle Moscow, trying to start the attack for the Wildcats. Actually settled in here with Tylenda, and some good possession from Kentucky. Bookhard now. Dispossessed there. Lily McCarthy picking it up.
Good. Nice triangle out from Kentucky, and that Maddie Kemp finding that space. Nice run in from Bookhard, trying to exploit that gap. I think West Virginia is a team that will like to press when they can press, but they're fairly comfortable. We can see early on, sitting back, understanding that low press and say, hey, come break us down.
And certainly capable of possessing it from time to time are the Mountaineers as well. They have some nice movement and some 1-2s. Here's Tylenda into Kemp. Kemp gets shadowed by a few players there. Lofted in towards Woods, headed away. And an intervention there by the center back.
Go, wonderful creative moment from Kemp early on. Again, getting into that pocket in front and making life difficult. Nice clever pass in to exploit the space.
And we just talked about Grace Philpotts and the ability she has from the set pieces. From this side of the field, the left foot's going to swing in, and man, it is dangerous.
I watched her hit a few of these during the warm-up, and we can expect this to land, you know, deep here into this 6-yard box and cause a little bit of chaos.
And a little bit too far off the circle there. A little bit maybe ticky-tack there from the assistant referee. I think Noah Matos on that side. That one curled in directly there to Truitt. It kind of pops up there in the box and cleared away now by the Mountaineers.
Good, not quite the delivery she may have wanted.
Grace Hoytink will settle it down and let it fly upfield. That one's going to roll out of play. Throw-in coming here for West Virginia. It'll be the left back to take it, Olivia Schertzer.
Good, there's a moment there for Hoytink just to go all the way back to her goalkeeper and settle the ball. Kentucky has done a great job at sort of building out from their own half, and need to trust that and not get panicked too early here in the game.
Thailandia with a hard charging few tackles there. That one forced to play upfield. Gianna Koss eventually finds its way to Truitt. Now Kentucky possessing in the back. Moscow direct to Philpotts. Kentucky still just holding comfortably with possession, and it's something this Wildcats team and head coach Troy Fabiano, very capable of keeping possession, but his thing always is as well, hey, if we can go direct, we're gonna go direct. Sometimes this season they've gone too direct and aren't able to build their chances as they would like, but you know, they've got a good balance, this Wildcats attack.
Good, I think you're always trying to train players to in a possession system to understand that your first look is always forward, and especially when you've got a Michaela Woods up there who plays on the shoulder and a Maddie Kemp who's finding advanced pockets. Looking forward and looking forward quickly is a great first look, but ultimately I think Kentucky benefits here from being able to retain possession and use the great size of this big and gorgeous field.
We were both admiring the circle pattern on the field tonight from the grounds crew. Got to give them a shout out. I love the circle. We said it off air. It's just a nice change of pace from the line straight across, right? And there is head coach Troy Fabiano of the Wildcats. What an outstanding career he had with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, coming here to Kentucky, and improvement year over year now here in his third season with the Wildcats. So close, I think, to getting an NCAA tournament bid last season, and this time finally qualifying, and now maybe there's more noise in store for this Wildcats team, either here or seasons to come.
Yeah, tonight's a big night, being back in national tournament play. Big credit to what he's been able to do here, the coaching staff, the recruitment that staff has done to get this fantastic group of players together. To be able to be, what we see here tonight is tremendous, and a lot of people in the state of Kentucky very happy to be out supporting this team here tonight.
Fabiano this season, his 350th career win as a head coach. And when he was coaching at UW-Milwaukee, they went 1,617 days without a conference loss in the Horizon League. He and that team were incredible during their time with him at the helm, trying to instill that same winning mentality with the Wildcats. Here's Philpotts. On to the left, driven in. That one well away by Gianna Koss. A little chance to break forward here from Lily McCarthy. She sees Taylor White trying to flash in behind Moscow, dealt with well by the freshman center back.
Goal well handled by Moscow, who had an unfortunate moment during the last Tennessee game. Ball just clipping over her head, which led to an early goal for Tennessee, making sure nothing like that happens again tonight. We saw a moment ago Philpotts' ability to start in her own half, go and advance into that space, and being able to have that overload so high up the field and get a delivery in is a real headache here for this back four.
West Virginia is starting to build that attack themselves. They haven't had a lot of openings. This Wildcats team has been pretty tight, not allowing anything into midfielders so far.
Going to be seeing not too high of a press from Kentucky. Happy for them to have their ball in that defensive third, and we talked about activation points, and I think stepping into midfield as we're seeing now, you see that energy shift in Michaela Woods and Maddie Kemp.
That ball seemed to stay in. It looks like it might creep out there and curled and stayed in play. Heredia Beltran trying to harass Grace Hoytink, and she's able to get it away.
Go Buckeye, just telegraphing that a little bit too easily.
There's Lily McCarthy with a win in midfield and able to reset it in a more advanced position now for the Mountaineers. Let's see how comfortable Niema Ingleton and Annika Leslie are on the ball, the two center backs for the Mountaineers. Schertzer looking to play that ball in, and it does find its way down in the box. Now crossed in the direction of Ajane Respass, and that is the recipe for the Mountaineers. If you can find the 6-footer there in the middle of the box, that's not a bad option.
Go Josephson does so well coming out there, reads it well, gets the flight of the ball, and cleans it up wonderfully.
McCarthy winning it back again for West Virginia. White lays it off. And there's that connection there between those two, White and McCarthy. White got the touch pass, no foul according to Soren Stosha there.
Good. White not happy with that decision. I think understandably so, but wonderful run, and we see West Virginia finding their way into this game here.
Kayla Woods dropping all the way to that left midfield position pretty much there, and Schupel maybe got a shoulder in the head there, the defensive midfielder for the Mountaineers. The senior from Germany really anchors right in the middle of the midfield, right in front of the back line. I think there was a head injury there. Trainers will come out and take a look there at Lisa Schupel.
Schupel's so important to that defensive shape, sitting in front of that back four. Join tonight, in next to her is going to be Chloe Adler, giving McCarthy some of that space and some of that freedom to go and be creative and go and crash the box and find those pockets.
Schupel looks like she's okay, maybe just a little shaken up after that one. And it's NCAA tournament play. There's going to be some knocks and bruises from time to time, but yeah, she's definitely wincing as she comes off the field.
Yeah, I think, a good old-fashioned coming together.
And you see there, played for the German U20 team. She actually played basically from U15 to U20 through the youth national team in Germany. Had some time with, of course, Bayern Munich, a name everyone should be familiar with in soccer, a German powerhouse, especially in the men's game. Not to mention the women have been outstanding. And
when you look across college soccer on the women's side of things, there's so much international experience, not just international players, but players experience playing in their national teams. I watched the 70 minutes of, see the first 70 minutes of Florida State earlier on, and I think they had 6 national team players at the under-20 level. Really sort of impressive group, and great to see that at this level.
And I think there was a little fun exchange down there between Gianna Koss and Troy Fabiano. Mentioned Koss transferred from Kentucky. She was here last year and now getting minutes with this Mountaineers team at right back. So I think maybe a little bit of a joking play there by Troy Fabiano to delay handing her the ball for a half second. And it's been fun to watch Fabiano bond with this team. That one into Respass and now cleared away. There was some great Instagram videos earlier this week of Troy Fabiano and some of the Wildcats players going around campus and getting fans out to the Bell tonight. So they were driving around in a golf cart and handing out and just saying, hey, are you showing up to the Bell? So you can see the crowd there. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, Fabiano has done a tremendous job. I mean, look at his 3 seasons, 27 wins across his time here, and has led UK to 11 wins, and most again since 2014. It is a new era for women's soccer here at the University of Kentucky.
We mentioned at the beginning of the game, a decade since they've hosted an NCAA tournament game. Like you mentioned, so many program firsts this year. It's been a really impressive season for Troy Fabiano and the Wildcats. And this West Virginia team, let's not discount a great season from them, bouncing back after what for them was a rough one last season. Usually they're in winning ways and making the NCAA tournament seemingly every year. Here's Kemp. Matthijs turning. You see the pressure by both Respass and McCarthy there.
Good, great by Matthijs. Important there for those midfield players to understand when you see that black hole ahead of you and nowhere to go, that you understand where the space is, and that's often behind you, and that's your release point. West Virginia continue to build very deep in their own half, and Kentucky sitting, readying themselves for that advancement.
Ingleton taking the space given. Around to Koss. Philpotts wins it and gets the throw in coming here for the Wildcats. There you see just a storied career for Nikki Izzy Brown starting this program. She was the first coach for this West Virginia women's soccer team. She's been here ever since. And I tell you what, Gavin, what a fun interview to talk with her. She is just a ball of energy. You can tell her players love her, and described her senior class as a dysfunctional Italian family, if I'm not misremembering.
Yeah. I think described the whole program as a dysfunctional Italian family, but when you admit it, it comes from a place of love. Hey, no, talk about pedigree here in the game, and has advanced so many players and so many young coaches onto that next level, and has been a great advocate for the growth of the game on the women's side. And we know that her, speaking to her love of this game started young with her mom, who was involved in upstate New York adult soccer leagues. And we understand that her mom Rosalie is going to be listening, and she wanted to be certain that everyone knew that her mom Rosalie made the best sauce in upstate New York.
I'm just disappointed we don't have Instagram video of Rosalie kicking it around during a league game. Here's Philpotts with the cross in, headed away there. Well done by Schertzer, the left back. Yes, a very special shout out to Rosalie Izzo, and we were told by Izzo Brown, you've got to be neutral, and starting with that is Rosalie. If you give her a shout out, you're doing well for the Mountaineers. So Mountaineers faithful tuning in. That one's for you. That one's for the Izzo family as well. West Virginia trying to break out of this trap that the Wildcats have set here.
Yeah, not having an easy time breaking into that Wildcat half. But Kentucky just starting to slow up, in what they did so well in those opening 5 minutes with sort of patient possession and advancing into those areas. But what we see right now in Taylor White, they're really starting to stretch Kentucky a little bit better.
Moscow coming across again and winning that pass intended for Respass. But to your point, White had acres of space to run into there. That's sort of the risk reward you get with Philpotts charging up the side. Dispossessed, Tylenda, she sees Bookhart. Bookhart with some space. She's shouldered off. Well done there by Olivia Schertzer.
Schertzer covering ground fantastically there. Again, started with Maddie Kemp dropping into an area. Great run, just not able to get to the ball quick enough. Schertzer using her body very, very well.
And Tylenda dispossessing there. The substitute, Gabby Lamparty, who had come on for Schupel, who had that injury. And that might have affected that. Maybe Lamparty feeling her way into the game, not ready to get those touches right there with defenders bearing down on her.
Those first 5 minutes are always tricky. I think when you're sitting on a substitution bench here in a game, especially on a cold night, you're not expecting to land in after 13 or 14 minutes usually.
And Lamparty played in 19 games this season. She has seen a lot of minutes coming on in that holding midfield position. Someone certainly capable of stepping in there, the sophomore from Ohio. That one up over the head of Lamparty. It's going to drop down to Leslie. That one out of play. Fabiano resetting quickly for the Wildcats, getting it up to Tylenda there. not quite the around-the-back pass of Greg Berhalter for the U.S. men's national team. That was kind of his signature while he was the head coach.
He's saving that for the Sweet 16.
Yes. A little more flair as we get deeper into the tournament, he's hoping. Tylenda flicks it up. Rest pass dropping really deep to try and get to the ball. The Wildcats seemingly with the white shirts at the command, bearing down on these attempts for the Mountaineers. Catherine Truitt brings it down. Wildcats possessing. Matthijs over the top to Woods.
Good, we know that's that ball that Woods loves over the top.
Woods inside of Ingleton. Across! And cleared away. Their shirts are once again.
Yeah, reads it so well. Woods just showing us what she can do when that ball is played over the top.
Taylor White, hard tackle in there from Matthijs. White right back onto it and gets a really good whack there from Catherine DeRosa. Take a look back at Michaela Woods getting an opportunity to put the cross in.
Good, drives in, gets herself all the way across Ingleton. And hard to pick that pass. You know, I think Booker would have been the first run. There was a second run in behind. I think if you can just hold on for half a second and let Booker be that decoy, you've got a better lane for a second runner.
Olivia Schertzer with 2 interventions in the back that have been hugely important so far for West Virginia. Seems a lot of good Kentucky possession so far. That Mountaineers back line holding up to the pressure.
Yeah, they've been deep, but they've managed pretty well. And I think, you know, outside of the first 5-6 minutes, Kentucky hasn't really caused too much of an issue. We see Maddie Kemp trying to get into areas.
Speaking of, Kemp driving forward. Tylenda now going 1v1. Still Tylenda onto the right foot. That's the shot she likes to take. Not enough, though, on that one. And Mackenzie Smith scoops it up.
Yeah, good. Kemp picking it up in a nice area, rolling into space, and Tylenda going the trickier path, I think, between players. Doesn't quite find that far post. No major trouble there from Mars Josephson.
Ingleton drops back to Smith. Mackenzie Smith, the redshirt sophomore from Apex, North Carolina, and player who has stepped in, despite the young age, in between the pipes for the West Virginia Mountaineers this season. She only played 2 games last season and did not play in 2022. So getting her shot, and she's been the stalwart in goal this season. And Schupoll's going to come back in after that injury. Lamparty comes out. You see some of the scores around the NCAA. Oh, there's an ACC typical scoreline there. Wake Forest with a commanding lead over Morehead State.
Yeah.
And look at that final score in Georgia being upset by the Colorado Buffaloes. High scoring one there.
It's a good time of year for an upset.
Cross in, Mars Josephson strong again with it. And she's going to go quickly to Tylenda.
Hey, she has been tasked twice with coming out and cleaning up that area in front of her, and credit to her, really, really fantastic work.
Schupoll, excellent shield there on the sideline to shepherd that one out of play for a throw in here for West Virginia.
Josephson, a great example to any young players at home to understand that, hey, you don't need to be 6'3", 6'4" to come out and really command your area in the way that she can.
You saw that one drift right over the head of Respass. Again, 6-footer there in the boxes, Ajane Respass. And sometimes you don't need to draw up a very elaborate set piece. Sometimes just go direct to your tall players that can attack the ball. But we know West Virginia has some tricks in the bag from set pieces. We talked with head coach Izzo Brown about her assistant coach, and actually I should mention associate senior head coach. So an assistant coach, but she's been elevated, is Lisa Stoya. Lisa Stoya draws up the set pieces for this Mountaineers team. And Nikki Izzo Brown wanted us to give her the plaudits of like, hey, this is someone who really helps out with these, and they have taken advantage of those throughout the season. 9 goals off of corner kicks.
Yeah, it has certainly become a real work of engineering, I think, for set piece coaches and for, you know, associate and assistant coaches to take on that role, to really think about when we get a set piece, you know, we need to be in as much control as we can of what's about to happen.
We talk about conference play tightening up for both of these teams, both in the Big 12 and the SEC. 7 of the 9 corner kick goals for this West Virginia team came in Big 12 play, so they really drew it up well for conference opponents. Do they have more in store in the NCAA tournament?
I think what gets tricky as you move along is having to continue to be creative. You know, these teams are so you know, busy about scouting each other and understanding what do set pieces look like for one another. So I think you've got to continue to be creative and find new ideas as you go into, you know, tournament play.
West Virginia, as they've seen the ball in this area of the field between their 2 center backs, just sort of keeping that possession throughout the game so far.
Yeah, they've remained patient. What they've struggled is a little bit is getting McCarthy on the ball. We can see her on the right-hand side of your screen, trying to find those little pockets, followed closely around by Catherine DeRosa. Seems to be sort of player marking her in those areas. And as I said, you know, in our open, if you can stop Lily McCarthy, you can maybe stop this West Virginia team.
There is something to Kentucky playing 2 more holding midfielders in Matthijs and DeRosa. You can pass that player off, or you can even have one of them man mark if you want, and essentially mark a player out of the game because you've got another center midfield playing right in front of the back line.
It gives you the opportunity to, you know, let your 2 center backs worry more about that ball over the top, and if they're doing their job in front of you and covering up that ground, then you stop a ball into Woods' feet.
And despite West Virginia not creating as many chances yet, with both of these teams, they're so dangerous and can be in the counterattack. It can just take one little moment.
A good run there by Scherzer, once again winning the ball and taking it a long distance.
A good-looking shot from that distance, just not enough on it there. Mars Josephson had to get down and make sure that that one didn't sneak its way in, though.
Good. It was important that she stepped to that ball and didn't give it to Maddie Kemp with all sorts of space, and drove forward well and gets that shot away just enough to continue to keep Mars Josephson nice and busy.
Headed between players there in midfield. Kentucky finally able to corral it. You see what's at stake tonight for both of these teams. We mentioned for Kentucky this would be their first tournament win since 2014. It has been a decade since they'd had a tournament win or a game hosted here at the Bell. For West Virginia, looking for their most wins since 2018. Their 2016 team, by the way, that was the one that made it to the national championship game that became runners-up after a really historic season for the Mountaineers. Over the top towards Tylenda.
Good, really tidy piece of play from Kentucky.
Tylenda cutting back to the left. And maybe an appeal for a handball. The fans certainly think so. Soren Stosha may take a look at this one. He does stop the clock, and we're going to get a video review here.
It's strange that he would stop the game and not wait until a moment when it went out.
Gianna Koss, maybe with that little chicken wing up there, and we will get a look at it. Soren Stosha goes to the monitor.
And we got a great angle here, and that arm extended, and she does not do herself any favors by letting her arm go up in the air, and you know, that's what I call a guilty arm. We may see a quick decision here from our referee.
A guilty arm is a great phrase for that. You can see her move it back as soon as it hits there. Soren Stosha has the decision, though. Does he think that it was away from the body, that she sometimes you hear the ball to hand phrase where did she have enough time to move it out of the way? I think the answer is yes, but that's going to be up to the discretion of Soren Stosha. He gets the angles that our production crew has here that you're seeing on screen. He also has additional angles from other cameras in the facility, and anything that could be a penalty kick like this is subject for video review.
We see Tylenda does a great job, and there's been a real headache down that left-hand side, and you know, she's 10-15 yards back from the ball, plenty of time to get herself out of the way, and you know, a very unlucky turn for the young fullback.
Gianna Koss, we mentioned the transfer from Kentucky. It would be something that she would really not like to come back here to Lexington and then give up a penalty on something that, you know, sometimes a ball comes in like that, your arm's out, what are you going to do?
And a penalty is not a given. If we've learned anything here this evening in the Utah State and Washington game, we understand that penalty is not just given. And
Soren Stosha talking with both coaches here. No penalty called. So according to Stosha here, there was not enough there to say a clear and definitive penalty kick should have been given. And Gianna Koss probably breathing a sigh of relief right now.
It wouldn't be like me to be disagreeing with referees, Josh, but I'll be disagreeing with our man with the whistle down there.
I think what Soren Stosha was seeing there is perhaps underneath the arm, maybe armpit area, perhaps from that angle. And according to him, no handball. So we move on. Kentucky with a huge opportunity potentially.
And a first mental test, I think, for Kentucky here is to can you get past that moment emotionally when you think you should have had it, and West Virginia will be buoyed here emotionally by feeling like maybe they got away with that.
And here's Koss with the throw-in. Troy Fabiano looking at his review on the sideline. They have an iPad down there, and I think one of the assistant coaches perhaps getting a yellow card. Yeah, there's some banter with the fourth official, I think, about what the Kentucky staff clearly thought was a handball. That's Aaron Hernandez as the fourth official down here. And Fabiano and Hernandez still having what I'm sure is just a nice exchange here. It's close to the holidays, right?
Yeah. Just making sure they got the addresses right for the Christmas card list, no doubt. I think Troy Fabiano's every right probably to be frustrated, but again, you've got to get past it. And I think when coaches can get past it, players can get past it.
Nick Stevens, the director of operations for the Wildcats, I think he's sitting down there. Jelena Sever and Maddie Dobbins are usually sitting down there as well. So
I think as a coaching staff, you always want to make sure you're getting yellow carded in an upper, using that verticality.
There you go. That's called delegation if you're Troy Fabiano. Make sure it's not the head coach first. It's just good strategy. Here's Phil Potts trying to get forward. That one out of play.
And great reaction to that decision from West Virginia here. Look at the change in energy and the change in the press and the ways in which they're really stepping onto Kentucky here.
Ingleton coming up. Great touch there from Kemp. On the run here. Out to Tylenda. Tylenda going at Gianna Koss once again. Now 3 Mountaineers there crowding her out. McCarthy trying to come over. Tylenda still, look at that close control. Phil Potts drives it in. Off of Koss again. This one's going to go out for a corner kick.
Phil Potts doing a good job getting herself down that line again. We haven't talked about her in a handful of minutes here, but look at the pressure that Tylenda is going to invite here for the rest of the game. We see how tricky she can be in those areas. The combination of those two players is going to be very important to be able to offload some of that pressure.
Catherine DeRosa with the service here. She's got Tylenda short. Kentucky, no stranger to winning corner kicks. Can they capitalize? Into the box. Held well there by Mackenzie Smith. We talked strong play from Mars Josephson on some crosses. That's excellently done by Mackenzie Smith.
Yeah, no nonsense so far from either of our goalkeepers here. Good deep ball in from DeRosa. And a lot of traffic and a lot of bodies in Mackenzie Smith's way. Does a really good job at staying focused on where that ball is and staying with the flight of it. Has to readjust her feet in a lot of traffic.
Yeah, it's busier than downtown Lexington after a game at Rupp. A lot of traffic in there. West Virginia trying to break something open in the attacking third. Those chances have been hard to come by so far. Schertzer looking for the pass. Mia Bookhart, who has been a really great inclusion for the Wildcats at the tail end of this season. Kind of started off getting substitute appearances early in the season, and then second half of this season, it's really been her starting at right wing. Long one, Truitt heads it away, and now Moscow just flicks that up and over and clears the danger for now.
So West Virginia doing the better job here at controlling the direction, the tempo here in the possession.
Ingleton dribbling forward.
Good, Lily McCarthy trying to find that nice early pocket into Taylor White, and no one picking up Taylor White. Important there for Kentucky just to be able to make sure that they're delegating who is on that run.
Kemp looking direct for Woods, turns on the afterburners. Ingleton step for step, nicely done there from the center back.
Good, great use. Ingleton does a great job with her body there, keeping it between the ball and Michaela Woods, not letting Michaela Woods bully her through that.
Grace Hoytink with the touch around. Hoytink lets it fly, deflected out. That time, Annika Leslie.
And some space here for West Virginia to step on. See if they have the runners.
Truitt shouldered down. White finds Respass. Respass almost snuck it away there. Heredia Beltran tries one from distance. That one well over the top of the frame there. And Truitt pushed down there.
Yeah, get out of jail free moment for Kentucky. I think a fair coming together there between attacker and defender, and Kentucky did a good job getting some players back and around, but we see the sort of space that there is in the middle of the park when Kentucky commit those players forward. There's a lot of ground there to cover, and you've got a back four that hasn't stepped up in the way that, you know, I think this Kentucky back four has failed to do so far. You leave a big space there that can be exploited.
And that was a massive opportunity for Taylor White and Respass up top. That's one that they feast on when they get a little opportunity in behind and a chance to take players on. Taylor White, 7 goals this season, 3 assists. Respass, 7 goals, 5 assists. So they could certainly light it up. You see some of the scores. No surprise there from the Duke Blue Devils, up 7-0. No upsets coming there. And we talked about the buzzsaw that is Florida State with a 6-0 victory tonight. White looking to cross that in. And we'll get a corner kick coming here for the Mountaineers. And Boston with a draw right now with Texas. That's
a opening 30 minutes. See Milwaukee holding on there with Notre Dame as well. It's when you're fighting for your life in bracket play, you know, some of these rankings go out the window.
And we mentioned service from the back line. Annika Leslie coming up to take this corner kick. She is the left footer here from this side of the field to the center back. And she has some assists this season, as we mentioned, 4 so far. Leslie again into the mixer. And man, we talked about traffic on the other side. There's a lot for this West Virginia team.
Good. Again, deep ball. Very difficult there.
Yeah, Respass.
Come get a foot on it, and Booker not quite firing that in the direction she'd hoped.
Respass and Koss were both there right in front of Mars Josephson. From this side will be McCarthy.
Looking for that same area right in on top of the 6-yard box.
That one drops down in the direction of Taylor White. Bookhart is taken down, and once again, Heredia Beltran over the top of the frame there with the shot attempt, and subs coming on, 1 for each side. Tanner Strickland on for Kentucky, and Jordan Wilson on for the Mountaineers.
Good small injection of pace here for these last 12 minutes, and you know, outside of those opening 10 minutes where I think we saw Kentucky come out, you know, with a lot of energy, they've really struggled to create after that, and slowly, this West Virginia Mountaineers side has chipped away and got deeper and deeper into this Kentucky half. And we look at that energy going and pressing them, not letting Kentucky enjoy the ball and be in control of things.
Schupel pulled down there. No foul coming from Soren Stosha, letting him play out there a little bit. Now a foul called, this time going in the favor of the Wildcats. Sophia Matthijs absorbing a little contact there.
Yeah, and Chloe Adler's been busy in there, you know, between her and Schupel have tried to win that midfield battle, and I think have done a neat job at, you know, mostly shutting down Maddie Kemp. I think we've seen flashes from Kemp, not quite able to create something clinical.
Ingleton headed that one away initially. There's Wilson getting a touch on the ball, the substitute. Rest pass to Wilson. Turn there from Philpotts, and you see the close control there. Philpotts receives it back from DeRosa. Woods with Two Mountaineers bearing down on it.
And
Still able to keep it.
Comes out with it. Really kept their eye on that.
And a good idea on that cross, and sweeping across once again. That looks like Schertzer.
Yeah, Scherzer's been outstanding. Just recognizing where that threat's going to be. I think a big accolade you have as a defender is your ability to read the game and understand where the ball's going to be, and done a tremendous job in this opening half so far.
Heredia Beltran trying to get to that one. She's dropped really deep here near the tail end of the half, just trying to get on the ball. And actually, that's Schertzer, the left back, coming in field now. Finds her opposing outside back. Koss gets it to Wilson. Wilson driving on to the right. That one deflected dangerously. And Josephson again just finding things back there in net.
Good, tidy, and Philpott does good right up until the last minute. Just allows Jordan Wilson to get half a yard. We see right there, just get that half a yard so that she can get a strike in, and arms nice and close to her chest there. Nothing that invites our referee over to our video screen again.
Left-footed strike there from Lily McCarthy, deflected by DeRosa. Wildcats try and settle back into possession. High press here from the Mountaineers, though. More subs coming on for them as well. Abby Alexa and JC Race making their check on. Race going in at right back for Gianna Koss, and Respass will get a break, as Alexa will try and replace some of that scoring output. She has 2 goals and an assist this season. Abby Alexa, the sophomore from Pine Beach, New Jersey. Here you see JC Race to take the throw.
Good, just trying to get a different picture in front of this Kentucky back four.
Lily McCarthy.
So often as attackers are coming into the game, they're paying a different sort of attention.
Wilson trying to get onto that right foot again. Philpott's away, and that one stays in.
Yeah, Philpott's doing a better job there, closing down that half a yard of space. Thailand not able to maintain possession.
Schertzer, long ball, and she's now come over to the right side, playing right back as Gianna Koss came off the field. And lets JC Race slide into the left back position. Been really impressed with Olivia Schertzer so far.
Good, Mars Joseph maybe letting her defenders know she's been a little bit too busy here these last 10-15 minutes.
Long one in the direction of Michaela Woods, and that's not generally going to help you relieve that pressure on your back line.
No, we talked about Kentucky's willingness to go direct and play some of that what we call that Route 1 soccer, Josh, and it's not always a time for it. I think their success early came from really tidy moments of possession and exploiting the kind of space and getting Maddie Kemp into those pockets.
McCarthy able to dance past a challenge, takes the drive wide of the goal. Not a bad effort there from Lily McCarthy.
That's it. We talked about her at the beginning of the game, how impactful she was going to be, and about winning the midfield battle. Here's an example of both, is winning those individual battles, stepping in, trying to find that bottom left-hand corner. Mars Joseph asked at full stretch, and here we see AJ Rodriguez making their way into the game.
5th-year senior AJ Rodriguez, and all Big 12 second team this season with 4 goals. All Big 12 second team in 2022, and she was also tournament team in that year as well. 5 goals in that 2022 season. Yeah,
Rodriguez certainly an attacking threat, and I think great move by Coach Izzy Brown there to again continue to change that picture in front of this Kentucky in front of this Kentucky back four.
We do have a goal from the Fighting Irish, getting the 1-0 lead over Milwaukee. Again, that is the game that awaits either of the winners of this one tonight.
Good, important goal right there on the brink of halftime.
West Virginia settling into that possession once again. Just very patient building out of the back here.
Yeah, and they've started to find some feet a little bit better as well, and they've ran things. They've managed most of this game, and they've started deep. Challenge here from Kentucky is, do we want to let them play their way into the game and continue to knock on our door, or are they going to sort of ask the question, what do we change? We see Michaela Wood starting to, go and put more pressure on, but cannot do it herself. Everyone else in Kentucky is sitting in their own half at the moment. Important for them to go and, get a little bit of pressure on this team.
Now Kentucky trying to break against that pressure. Ingleton stepping in once again.
Yeah, go Buckeye, just trying to find Woods and exploit some space.
Abby Alexa bringing it down. The number 9, the target forward. And it's a great like-for-like replacement there. Abby Alexa for Ajane Respass. They can both hold that ball up, lay it off, and let your center midfielders play. Thalia Morrissey getting set to check on for the Wildcats at the next opportunity. So look at this patience once again from the Mountaineers. Schertzer trying to find a dangerous one across.
Yeah, almost on the foot of Maddie Kemp, and even Mackenzie Smith very far off her own line there.
Ingleton. Round to Schertzer. Kentucky back line just trying to get that ball back for a moment. A lot of high pressure here from the Mountaineers. There's Abby Alexa bearing down on Catherine Truitt. Philpotts coming up with it. Finds DeRosa. Well, maybe a little spell for Kentucky to have possession with their center backs.
Yeah, it takes a moment, I think, to build back up some of that confidence.
Philpotts want to turn there, but right into trouble. Abby Alexa, and Philpotts able to get it back. Now Tylenda with the touch pass. Another slide in, shoe pull, and that's a dangerous slide there, right by the sideline.
Yeah, we may see a yellow card here in the first one of the game for an on-field player. And Tylenda does really well here. Kentucky getting a couple of nice breaks and probably doesn't have to run. And I don't think there's too much malice there from Schupel, but leaves the stud hanging out and lunges a little bit.
One of those late slides. Schupel, the holding midfielder, as you're so familiar with, Gavin. Sometimes you gotta put a foot in there, try and win that ball back, and you're drawn to all sides of the field, and just unlucky there for Lisa Schupel.
I would still try to get there.
It'll be Maddie Kemp on the service.
Good long way from goal here.
Floated right into the box, and a great flicked header on there. I think Matthijs getting to that one initially, and almost paid off very well for the Wildcats.
Yeah, great. There was a lot of space there that Kemp needed to have that ball travel. Matthijs doing just enough. But again, sort of outside the penalty, outside of that penalty mark, it's a long way in to generate any sort of power or direction to really trouble Mackenzie Smith here.
Sydney Fink coming on in addition to Thalia Morrissey for the Wildcats. Aria Bilal coming on for the Mountaineers. Bilal has a lot of pace at the wing midfield position if that's where she ends up winding up here on the field.
Good, we see a great ball into Abby Alexa's feet. She's been great since she's come on at getting the ball down and making something stick.
Maddie Kemp trying to get past that back line, maybe put a cross in, but sweeping over was Annika Leslie. Again, all Big 12 first team for Leslie. She's anchored this back line, and they've looked pretty stout tonight after withstanding some early pressure from the Wildcats.
Yeah, there's a maturity about this group and a confidence about that back four. We see both in their ability to, in possession, stay on it, stay deep, build and be patient, and then defensively I think they've really tried to step, both in Leslie and I think we've seen a lot in Schertzer, their ability and their confidence to step in and go and win balls.
3 corner kicks apiece for both of these teams. It's DeRosa again on the service from this side, and all that traffic in the 6-yard area.
We've seen a lot of good deliveries from DeRosa so far in this game.
Another one in there. DeRosa back post, floated up, but not a solid enough contact to get it on frame there.
Good, and we had three players all the way back there, and I think it could have been Sydney Fink who got the final head on things. With 3 Kentucky players getting in each other's way, really. I think it can be tricky when you've got a ball that's not right in on top of the goalkeeper there for players to really get a run. I never quite understand crowding that space and not giving players a chance to go and get a 2-3 yard step on it.
And more of an attack as they come into that header, right?
Got a bit more pressure here from Kentucky.
Emma Dotson checked on for the Mountaineers on that goal kick. Dotson, the redshirt junior, wearing number 6. Coming from Lewisburg, West Virginia, so not too far from home to play at the university. Really not too bad of a drive to get to Morgantown either. It's about 5.5 hours, I'd say, from Lexington.
And a gorgeous drive in that.
Absolutely. Go down 64, then 79 north once you hit Charleston. 10 seconds left to play, and that will likely wind things out unless a freaky last-minute long bomb goes in, and that'll be it. 0-0 here in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Kentucky and West, really nothing that has tested either keeper so far tonight. Only one shot on goal for each team. West Virginia gets the kickoff. They'll be wearing, again, the navy with the yellow, the nice yellow numbers, easily identifiable on the back, and Kentucky in the all-white.
An appreciation from us.
Absolutely.
Really. I'm behind on my contact lenses as well, so it gets tricky.
That one all the way upfield. Truitt settles it down, but given away. Taylor White bearing down. White into the box, crosses in the direction of Respass, and back there was Heredia Beltran as well, and a huge opportunity early for the Mountaineers.
Good, a rare mistake there from Truitt.
And again, Taylor White deflecting it. Respass was offside when that one deflected out to her. What a cross this was by White.
Yeah, we talked about getting a good early start from one team or the other. White doing what she knows how to do is go put it into a dangerous area between defenders and goalkeepers, and no West Virginia player crashing that box.
We had a lot of great things to say about Olivia Schertzer for the Mountaineers in that first half. Grace Hoytink, as I mentioned, sometimes an unsung hero on that back line for the Wildcats, stepping in that time to just get her foot to it from that cross.
Philpott's coming all the way back to take this.
Long one by Philpotts there. Drops its way down to Maddie Kemp. Kemp looking for Woods. Woods using her body well there. Trying to get around the corner on Ingleton, and Ingleton and Woods has been a fantastic matchup so far tonight.
Really cleverly managed by Ingleton. Not just using her body well, but I think just covering that space well and making sure. Sometimes when you're playing against a player like Michaela Woods, who I think has the strength and has the power over you, it can be just as important to keep them really close to you and leverage some of that power that they have in the direction that you want them to.
And Ingleton listed at 5'3", Leslie, her center back counterpart, at 5'8", both Canadian players as well. Nova Scotia for Annika Leslie, and Calgary for Ingleton. Here's Hoytink trying to get forward.
Good, just not enough pace on that ball there from Catherine DeRosa.
Soren Stosha gets the brunt of that crossfield attempt there and holds up play.
Credited with the assist.
It's always so unfortunate. If you've got a good active referee in the middle of the field, sometimes those deflections can happen. And quickly reset. Here's Matthijs back to Moscow. DeRosa and Truitt.
Good, Truitt finding a nice ball out on that side, but just a little bit slow from Kentucky in possession. A little bit, would like to see a little bit more conviction from them.
Tylenda was able to poke that one away, and she has really had some great effort tracking back for the Wildcats from her outside mid position.
I think it's in these moments there where there's a sort of 50-50 ball that spills, and you've got 2, 3, 4 Kentucky players around it. That's your trigger to go and get some pressure on the ball and not let West Virginia so easily just build back into possession and take shape in the way that they want to.
Schertzer looking for that driven ball into White. Not a bad idea there. Mars Josephson settles it down for the Wildcats.
And we see West Virginia are doing that themselves, and perhaps the most energetic team will go and get this game out of the box.
we mentioned Nikki Izzo Brown with her tournament success. You saw the graphic there. West Virginia has been essentially annually in the tournament. Every single year, it's just, oh, there's the Mountaineers again. And they have had some good runs as well. I mentioned 2016 having that College Cup appearance and losing in the final of this NCAA championship. They have been very close to the promised land before, and they're just consistent. And Nikki Izzo Brown knows what to get out of her players at this time of year. Touch around there by Moscow. You saw the high pressure there from so many Mountaineers. Heredia Beltran around to McCarthy. McCarthy trying to dance past a few Wildcats there and drops it back to Schertzer.
Good, clever bit of composure there from McCarthy.
Outside of the foot pass intended for Heredia Beltran, but there's Grace Hoytink, and she is unceremoniously flung to the ground there by Heredia Beltran.
Good, Beltran just going ahead and get involved and not happy to have her in the way.
Bookhart trying to turn against Chloe Adler. Throwing coming for the Wildcats.
We've seen these open 5 minutes. Kentucky just not getting to the pace of the ball. As it's gotten a little bit darker in the evening has gone on, ball has gotten slower here on this wet ground.
Schupel trying to shield off there against Maddie Kemp. Michaela Woods brings it down. Schupel is taken down there by Michaela Woods, and it'll be a free kick for the Mountaineers.
Good, does well.
Now, again, that back line possessing, and Ingleton and Leslie so comfortable in possession with the ball at their feet.
Good, and they step in really well, invite that first press so that there's going to be an option.
And around to Schertzer now. Olivia Schertzer with the little step over there. Schertzer trying to work it onto the right. She does so! What a goal there from Olivia Schertzer! She took it on herself, and nobody stepped up from the Wildcats' back line there, but take nothing away from the dribbling run there, and a beautiful floated finish to that back post.
Good, and finding that Alexis Tylinda space that we saw in the first half and the way she exploited it. Does a great job, nice solo moment, cutting through that small little gap that she has, getting onto her right foot, and tidy finish, just beating the full stretch there of Josephson.
Schertzer somehow, it was almost like she toe poked it, but still curled it towards that back post. And Schertzer, with only her second goal of the season, takes the lead in this opening round of the NCAA championship against the Wildcats.
Good, and a breath of relief, and I think a well-earned first punch here from West Virginia. Kentucky just have not brought themselves to West Virginia here. Both offensively or defensively. 3 players around that, not making anything happen, not taking responsibility. Then on the front line, we see Michaela Woods trying oftentimes to press herself, not making life nearly difficult enough.
Schertzer, we talked about in that first half. She did so well in defense, and then as this game has worn on, got forward a little bit more. I mentioned she only had 1 goal before this game this season. That goal, a game winner against Baylor. Here's Grace Hoytink trying to do the same thing for the Wildcats that the Mountaineers just did. Driven in, ball in there, and now poked away. Schupel tries to find it there. DeRosa winning the ball back, though, for the Wildcats. Hoytink with the nutmeg. Still staying on it. Hoytink driven. Held well there by Mackenzie Smith.
Good, does her. Hoytink doing a great job there. The nutmeg, nice individual moment. I think just that last moment, that last piece into Mackenzie Smith's hands, it's at a perfect height. I think either low and driven across the box, you get it in that shin height. Difficult for a goalkeeper, difficult for defenders who are facing their own goal.
And Michaela Woods, as usual, sniffing in there right behind the goalkeeper in case that one slides its way through. Here's DeRosa laying it off to Philpotts. Philpotts One goal this season as well for Grace Philpotts, and it was a special one. Tylenda going down, winning the free kick here, and this is prime opportunity from the set piece for the Wildcats.
Such a dangerous duo, Tylenda and Philpotts out on that left-hand side, and we saw early on, what they can do together is a great understanding between these two, and they stay a step ahead of people around them, as we see there in that moment. Tylenda taking one for the team. Need to get them on the ball more often. Need to get them on the ball higher up the field. And that's not always going to be nice and cozy building out of your own box. Sometimes that's going winning scrappy balls in an offensive third.
And Alexis Tylenda, SEC All-Freshman team, 3 goals this season and an assist. The freshman from Pittsburgh has certainly made her impact so far on this Wildcats program. Here's DeRosa. Dropped in, and Kemp finishes it off! It's 1-1 here in the NCAA opening round, and it's Maddie Kemp, the senior, doing it once again, the graduate student.
I don't know what was in the Gatorade at halftime in these locker rooms, but certainly we've seen a different energy out here. And we see what happens when Kentucky go and they get themselves involved higher up the field. They're gonna force mistakes, force difficulties, and another chaotic ball into a dangerous area. And Maddie Kemp, once that ball pops up, is able to go and take her opportunity.
Maddie Kemp, 5 goals now this season. None bigger than that one to draw things up here. 1-1 against West Virginia. And halftime, Gavin, I think both you and I were saying, it's 0-0. We haven't seen a lot of testing shots yet. And here within the first 10 minutes, a goal each for these teams.
Well, it's do or die at this point of the season, and you cannot wait for the game to come to you, and this will lift the spirits of Kentucky, and already a little bit higher up the pitch, a little bit more aggressive.
You see the blue smoke drifting over the camera there behind the goal, and we've got a stoppage coming from Soren Stosha. I wonder if that's to let the smoke clear, if there's something on the sideline. Stosha going to talk to the 4th official, Aaron Hernandez. I think this is a conversation about that blue smoke back there, Gavin.
Yeah, seems to be an issue for them.
They're going to let it clear. And can be distracting. This isn't a European stadium where they're setting off flares the entire game, so the smoke, it's unusual during the course of the game.
Yeah, I hope these guys won't be refereeing at Borussia Dortmund anytime
soon. Notre Dame up 2-0 on Milwaukee. Again, the winner of this game faces off against the winner of that one. And South Carolina, goodness gracious, over East Carolina.
There's some big scores out there across the brackets. Ohio State, James Madison doing a neat job there, trying to keep a tight gap. Virginia, Princeton.
And Princeton, we didn't get a chance to talk about upset picks or anything like that, Gavin, before the game started. Princeton's got a good squad, and they are showing that, tied up with Virginia right now. Here's that ball in. Chloe Adler for West Virginia, trying to take the lead back. Heredia Beltran, left-footed cross over the head of Josephson. Dropped dangerously. Taylor White comes up with it. Good cut. Back onto the left. Driven back post. A little too much height there.
Yeah, good little moment there from West Virginia. A couple of crosses. Not quite, both of them too deep. Not able to find somebody on the edge of the box.
Lily McCarthy with the left foot. The in-swinger that time. It's only 1 shot on goal in the first half for both of these teams. The 1 shot on goal for both of these teams in this half, they have been goals. High conversion rate.
Keeps us busy up here.
There's Maddie Kemp, the goal scorer for the Wildcats. Kemp pressuring now. Michaela Woods taking that one away, and now a little breakaway opportunity here for the Wildcats. Woods on the drive. Lily McCarthy tracking back. Woods using her strength. Eventually, though, Schupel tracking back to win it.
Yeah, just enough. West Virginia players closing in.
Bookhard with the step over. Now out to Kemp. Kemp swings it in. Back post, Tylinda got a solid header attempt. Wide of the goal.
Yeah, I think couldn't believe it. Got all the way, but another good moment from Kentucky. Continued to knock on that door. Good delivery there from Kemp. Just finds that top of the 6-yard box. Probably looking for Michaela Woods. Tylinda probably not the favoured head there in that box.
Now it's Kemp popping up on the right side of the field that time. You'll see that. We talked about her positioning and ability to get in different spaces off the ball. Time almost in the right wing position, and that's that danger Maddie Kemp poses to you. She will just find different ways to get on the ball.
And provides a great overload there. And in doing so, just creates a bit of space for herself because she's wandering into areas where I think West Virginia are not expecting her to be.
One drops down in the direction of Kemp. There's Schertzer shielding that one out of play. Be a Mountaineers throw incoming. Maddie Kemp, the graduate student. Michaela Woods, also a graduate student. DeRosa and Matthijs, graduate students in the center of midfield. So the entire spine for this Kentucky Wildcats team outside of their center backs, all very experienced seniors. Here's Grace Philpotts on the charge.
Good, Taylor White covering ground fantastically there.
Philpotts lays it off to DeRosa, not afraid to have a pop off the crossbar and cleared away by Ingleton.
Good and fantastic strike from DeRosa and no Kentucky player. You've got Woods, you had Kemp, you had Bookhart just a little bit further away. No one anticipating anything coming back to go and close the space.
And it looked like perhaps Mackenzie Smith got a little fingertip to that to direct it onto the post. Michaela Woods now in the attack for the Wildcats. Bookhart. Kemp asking for it. Bookhart goes back. Post! Woods off the other post this time after the crossbar hit from DeRosa. Free kick going against the Wildcats. Here's DeRosa off the crossbar first.
Good, has a keeper beaten there. Maybe it's a palm up onto it. Again, just too much looking around. No one closing that space. Great ball in for Bookhart. Woods at that back post.
Left post, crossbar. We're just missing the right post right now for the Wildcats shots on that frame. DeRosa and Matthijs have both shown from deep they will let it fly, and DeRosa almost had one of the best goals of the NCAA championship so far.
Goal like that would have lit up this place.
Fans right back into this one after Maddie Kemp drew the Wildcats equal.
And good response here in these opening 15 minutes or so. You know, from a sluggish first half, I think, or sluggish second 30 minutes from that Kentucky team.
Moscow all the way over to Catherine Truitt. Trying to find Philpotts. Philpotts and White. Seeing who will come up with it. And there's Lily McCarthy for the Mountaineers. Heredia Beltran trying to turn and pokes it away from Bookhart. Moscow motoring over to win it. And up to Bookhart.
Good, Bookhart does well, taking in that space inside and lots of space here to run into.
Matthijs finds it to Kemp. Does Woods have a step on the back line? Kemp holds it up. Kemp, another Meg on Olivia Schertzer on that side of the field. The cross unsuccessful, however.
God, she loves that ball with the outside of her right foot. And yet another nutmeg from Maddie Kemp.
Olivia Schertzer not really doing anything wrong by getting megged here. It's just really good attacking play from the Wildcats. That's twice in a row on Olivia Schertzer, unfortunately for her. It was Hoytink the first time. DeRosa over the top. Beautiful ball in there to Matthijs. Schertzer this time with the one-on-one defense. And there's Hoytink. Heredia Beltran tracking back. Matthijs left-footed service. Bookhart with the header. And that one wide of the goal. And I think a little miscommunication between Wildcats in the box there.
Yeah, I think it gets a little bit stagnant when that ball gets up there, and you know, in that moment it's Bookhart or it's Matthijs who gets herself beyond into a good area. Take a touch, get across in nice and early. That's when people are anticipating. You've got Michaela Woods. You've got Tilanda on the far side looking for that ball nice and early. Don't wait.
I just received a note from one of my fellow commentators, Adam Zundel at West Virginia. Shout out, Adam. Good to hear from you. He said Olivia Schertzer, who scored that goal, she actually started the season at center forward for the Mountaineers. And she scored a very similar looking goal against Baylor for her first goal of the season. And that time, Respass, the current center forward, a little bit too much left in there. She will receive the yellow card. And a lot of time.
In full control there, and not a whole lot there in Respass. I think if you're a goalkeeper, you're gonna sort of wait on some of that contact. Maybe that's a word from the referee. Hey, if you're gonna wait on some of that contact, don't make my job so difficult. Just pick the ball up.
And
Maddie Kemp down here talking to Troy Fabiano.
Mars Josephson selling that last one a little bit, perhaps, Gavin.
We're always looking for theater majors.
And as you just said, yeah, a lot of communication there between Maddie Kemp and Troy Fabiano on the sideline for the Wildcats. Ingleton, strong charge forward, advantage is played. Great ball over from Chloe Adler. Taylor White onto the right foot, blasted over the top of the frame.
Good, and West Virginia doing what Kentucky is, sort of where Kentucky has slowed down a little bit once they've gotten in around that box. West Virginia continued to stay 1 and 2 touches in there and getting something, producing, even if it's a shot that's over the bar. That's how you build confidence, getting shots away, getting crosses in, building up some of that rhythm.
Subs coming in for both of these teams, I think a little bit earlier than we had in the first half. Tanner Strickland coming back on for the Wildcats. For West Virginia, Jordan Wilson.
I think what we can expect from Strickland here is, kind of in combination with Michaela Woods, is to go and get some pressure on that back four and not allow West Virginia to build so easily in their own half. And here's Taylor White on the right-hand side.
A little bit of a mistouch there from White. She had a lot of space there. Crossed in. And that time into the hands of Josephson. JC Race checked on for the West Virginia Mountaineers as well. Looks like she'll take up a more central position this time. Philpotts trying to get around White, and we talk about these individual battles all over the field. Philpotts and Taylor White, that is certainly a titanic matchup between those two. Both of them can go forward. Obviously, White is playing on the wing, Philpotts at left back, and then they're going 1v1 a lot against each other.
Yeah, it's certainly one that we enjoy seeing all game.
Gianna Koss with the throw here. Flicked in the direction of Respass. Some high pressure from Wilson. Mars Josephson just has to drive it away.
Good, tiny piece of play from Mattis.
Strickland able to settle that pass down. Now out to Hoytink. Hoytink driving right at JC Race. Still Grace Hoytink slides it back. Bookhart flicked on. Strickland not able to get a good solid shot to it.
Yeah, just trying to put anything in the direction of goal, which again is probably fine as far as Kentucky's concerned right now.
Little toe poke upfield there from Shupol, and Moscow too strong there for Respass. Here's Tylenda, wants that right foot. Slows things down on the outside of the box. Tylenda. Back to DeRosa. Another shot from distance and almost hit the crossbar again.
Good. She's been dangerous, proving herself. She's not the one that West Virginia want to see popping up with the ball in the edge of the 18-yard box, and that one goes narrowly over the crossbar. But again, Kentucky slowing the ball down. DeRosa doesn't need to be a get out of jail pass there. Get yourself 1v1 and go and get a cross in. We see Mackenzie Smith just dealing with a little bit of battle wounds from the ups and the downs.
Yeah, it looked like maybe clutching at the back there, that lower back when you land on it, and she did go up for that first shot that DeRosa hit off the crossbar. It's never pleasant trying to go up high and then land potentially on your back. Looks like she will continue on. Smith sets it down. Gets ready to reset, as you see Virginia Tech
breaking the deadlock.
Yeah, taking the lead over Tennessee, who Kentucky saw twice this season in regular season play and the SEC Conference Tournament. So far, TCU, no goals against Stephen F. Austin. That is not easy against TCU. And a fellow SEC opponent, the Auburn Tigers.
Strickland with a big header there at midfield. And again, some new exchanges, some fresh faces. And Abby Alexa coming back in did a great job when she came in the first half, being some of the glue that holds the ball up for West Virginia and allows some of that cavalry to get higher and higher. That's important as some legs get tired here later into the game.
Here's Schertzer, the goal scorer, with the throw-in. Heaves it upfield. Now Schupol looking to put that ball over the top of the back line. JC Race is able to get to it. Race, some step overs there. And Wilson forced to play it all the way back.
Good Race, very determined down on that side. That's, we talk about what's missing here from Kentucky here at the moment is some of that determination, that the willingness not to be defeated, not to let anything go, and make Kentucky work for absolutely every ball they're gonna want to win here.
Schertzer driving forward. Puts that cross into a dangerous area, headed away by Philpotts. Matthijs just straight up into the air. And deflected out off of Lily McCarthy, and it'll be a Wildcats goal kick. And Gavin, the second half had some goals for us early on. Now things kind of settling, it seems, back into that familiar pattern of play that we saw in the first half. Yeah,
I think both teams just seeing what's going to be next, this next phase. And for Kentucky, have just lost that rhythm that they had, similar to the first half, that rhythm that we saw them have in those opening 10 minutes, despite the West Virginia goal. Have lost that again. This is where you need your Maddie Kemp. This is where you need, players like Michaela Woods to go and get this team by the neck and say, hey, get on the ball, let's play our game.
West Virginia starting that attack from those center backs again. So comfortable in possession. Here's Koss going at Tylenda. Philpotts with Taylor White bearing down on her once again.
Good. Taylor White just does not let anything go. Creates so much for herself.
Bookhart tracking back there on Race, winning it. Looking for Woods. Strickland with some close control, and she's going to win the free kick there for the Wildcats. DeRosa trying to go early, and Schupel has a yellow card already. That's one that you step in front of the ball, sometimes you can receive that second yellow. And Stosha says, hey, don't do that again. But, man, that was playing with a little bit of fire there for Lisa Schupel.
I think good decision from our referee. DeRosa's maybe being clever with some knowledge that, hey, I've got to play around me. It's on a yellow card. I knocked this ball off her. We're in some good trouble here. But, no, good decision from our referee. Too far away from goal. The ball wasn't really a pass into anyone. No goal-scoring opportunity.
Moscow floats it in. Schupel checked that Koss with the header back and in the direction of the goal, cleared away eventually. White trying to get past Philpotts and not able to do so.
Yeah, there's another sprint battle between those two. The ground school will be doing a lot of work down that flank tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they're going to have to pretty up that circle on that side of the field again. Moscow poked in the direction of Woods. Ingleton lets it slide there. And Woods pulled down, perhaps after she pulled down Ingleton, and now I think a little talking to Ingleton from Soren Stosha, perhaps.
Good, and from a Kentucky standpoint, that's more what you want. That determination to go and win something that you have no right for. Ingleton, again, that ball's moving slow, expecting the goalkeeper to come out and deal with it. Does just enough to push down on Michaela Woods, and a little kick out. All's fair and loving the NCAA tournament.
And you saw Woods initially did pull that arm in from Ingleton to try and pull her away. And Ingleton just has to be careful there after the play. Anytime it's after the foul is called, You might be risking that yellow card there. But hey, like you said, it's NCAA tournament play. You fight for everything out here.
Go better from Kentucky, going closing that space and making life a bit more difficult. DeRosa in nice and tight.
There's DeRosa winning it, wins the free kick against JC Race, and Wildcats have a chance to catch their breath and a set.
That's the making life difficult. That's what happens. You know, we saw it earlier on over with Philpotts over on that left-hand side. When you go and you get into some of these physical battles and you win them one-on-one, things are going to happen for you. You're going to get some breaks. West Virginia need to continue to, think about what it means to win this midfield battle.
Moscow will cannon it in the direction of the box. It drops down. Thailand always leaning back on that one. That one into the stands, into the big blue faithful back there. Subs for both teams. Maddie Kemp comes back on. Sydney Fink comes in for the Wildcats. And then for West Virginia, looks like Emma Dotson coming on, as well as Aria Bilal as well.
In the first half, what Fink's arrival meant was a much higher press from Kentucky and, a willingness to go and be energetic in that offensive half. And we see more scores in. Notre Dame continue to, force a gap between themselves and Milwaukee.
And that is a tough second-round game for which either of these teams ends up with the win tonight. Notre Dame, with head coach Nate Norman, have been outstanding these past few seasons, and the past 3 seasons actually have qualified for the NCAA tournament and made it to the second round at the very least in each of those. It's an NCAA quarterfinals in 2022. Here's West Virginia. McCarthy lets it go, but again, that Kentucky backline just stepping up at the right time.
Yeah, doing a better job there, making sure when McCarthy gets into those areas that it's not an easy strike.
And now a little opening there. A shot, and Josephson down to it, and it was the sub, Alexa, who let it fly.
Yeah, nice job. Just a little bit of ping pong. And Alexa has been great anytime she's gotten on the ball. First half or second half has looked dangerous, has looked like they're able to make an impact in this game.
That's the type of save that Josephson makes. Looks like it's kind of easy, but that's one on the front post, one that dips down and bounces right in front of you. It catches a lot of goalkeepers asleep.
Yeah, she gets down and covers that space very, very well.
Hoytink into DeRosa. Curled it, but not
good
the way she wanted to.
No, DeRosa to DeRosa.
The self-pass. Sometimes practiced, not usually executed. Here's Fink into Kemp. Wilson wins it away and back to Schertzer. Danced on that ball a little bit too much there. Here's Thailand.
And what can she create for herself? DeRosa, third time's the charm.
Kemp weaves it through to Hoytink. Hoytink loves that driven ball. Can't quite get it in first time. Hoytink again. Oh, Fink was there. The opening in the 6-yard box. A hard one to turn around toward goal.
Good, maybe Fink's first touch here in the second half, and we'll wish he had a moment to get into this game, but really, really great work just to get into that area.
Sydney Fink, the freshman, popping up in the right area. Grace Philpotts is going to get a rest as Maddie Eastman comes on.
Good, and as suspected, there's Fink putting pressure on things, and go run the tank down for 10 minutes.
Eastman will do the same thing from that left back spot as well. Both those players giving a much needed break to the starters in those positions.
South Dakota State, Minnesota, nothing 10 minutes in. Something tells me it might be a little bit colder there than it is even here, Josh.
In Texas, retaking the lead after an early scare against Boston U. Look at that.
Is looking down, this is a well bundled up BBN down here.
We've got the coats up here in the box too. I brought my gloves as well. And the beanie, but I don't need it yet. The headsets keep us warm up here.
Nonetheless, a committed Kentucky fan base here, and no shortage of West Virginia fans who made the journey here to play the team on.
Absolutely. Olivia Schertzer again on the charge. Finds Alexa. Abby Alexa. Shot right into Mars Josephson. And you're just talking about the West Virginia faithful. If you have not watched a game at Dick Delesk Stadium, where West Virginia plays both their men's and women's soccer games, just turn on one of their games from the season, especially if they are ranked at some point during their season. The fans turn out. They have some of the best attendance in the NCAA for some of those games. And man, it is a raucous atmosphere.
Hard to beat a good college soccer atmosphere.
Here's Race on the charge forward. Poked away. Sydney Fink. Check that, Tanner Strickland. What a move there. Over the top towards Fink.
Go ahead, asking Fink to do some work. Great burst of energy from both of these players. Always great when you can look to your bench if you're Troy Fabiano and understand that, hey, I'm going to get some hard work out of some of these players, and Fink has been fantastic, and so has Strickland since they've come in.
There's Fink again on the wing. Bundled over, and that's going to be a free kick in a very dangerous spot for the Wildcats. Olivia Schertzer giving that foul away.
It's an important set piece here. We see DeRosa, how clinical she is with that right foot, her ability to deliver something of quality.
DeRosa's lone goal of the year, not that she's going to shoot from this distance, but just to show you her quality against UCLA, a free kick top of the box, and it was a beauty. She can pinpoint these crosses in.
You've got some players in there. You've got Catherine Truitt and you've got Michaela Woods, likely targets here.
Shell Moscow also on that back post with a lot of height. DeRosa in that area. Great ball into the mixer. West Virginia gets it away, and now a big break on for the Mountaineers. Ingleton looking to play it through. That one bounces up. It hit Bilal's arm anyway, and the offside flag was up as well. Big break there from the Mountaineers.
West Virginia, very attentive to that ball breaking, and we're ready to go.
They were on their horse immediately following that free kick opportunity for the Wildcats. Here's a cut into the box and back again by Jordan Wilson. And that one out of play here.
And we see Grace Philpotts not getting ready to come back in. Not a long break for him. She's a real burst of pace, for this back four. Covers ground very, very well.
That cut there from Tylenda. Freshman has put in a yeoman's shift there on the left side of the field.
Good to Rosa. Great, and just a little bit of work there for Hoiting.
DeRosa turning. Wildcats with a spell of possession for themselves here. DeRosa receiving it back. Now Strickland with some space to run into. Still Tanner Strickland. Great ball in. And a turn here from Matthijs. Can't quite get it away. Race.
Yeah, well recovered there from Alexa. Or check that.
Here is Alexa. It was JC Race on that initial recovery, and still Alexa with the ball. Alexa exchanges it to Koss. Gianna Koss into the box. Maddie Eastman is in the way. Tylenda got taken out there. Soren Stosha didn't really have a reaction either way to it.
Physical game.
West Virginia now all the way back.
Yeah, more serious press. Kentucky, Fink doing a good job making sure that they're staying in that same area, but that back four for Kentucky still sitting a little bit deep. I would say a little bit lazy when you've got Fink and you've got Strickland and you've got Tylenda up there pushing themselves on. You've got to have it coming up behind you as well.
The big subs coming back on for both teams. Goals for both of these teams. Olivia Schertzer, what an individual run it was.
Yeah, really tidy, and knows she doesn't need to get a big strike on it, just needs to send it in that direction over the right-hand side. And we talked about Maddie Kemp, how creative she can be, but hey, right place, right time. You just need to be quick enough, make sure that you're reacting quicker than the West Virginia bodies around you, and brings us back to level.
So that's how it ended up 1-1, and goals within minutes of each other to start off this second half with a bang. Is there another goal before the end of regular time here? We do have overtime if it's 1-1, of course, after the end of regularly scheduled programming. Shell Moscow heads it away. Race back into the box. There's Taylor White, who just subbed back on. And Phil Potts, the other sub who came back on.
Yeah, very well read by Phil Potts. There was a gap opening up and needed to make sure that it got covered.
Kemp around to Strickland. A little bit of a slow roller there. Strickland able to get to it.
Yeah, gotta pass the ball with a bit of intensity.
Strickland around to Matthijs. Tries to find Fink, but there's Schertzer in the way. Matthijs got a little extra nudge from Schertzer after that ball went out of play. It'll be a West Virginia throw.
Yeah, Schertzer doesn't take any prisoners.
Schertzer, the 5'7" sophomore from Pennsylvania, has been really a standout for the Mountaineers tonight, even beside the goal. Obviously the goal so important in this one, but she's been one-on-one against so many of these wingers for the Wildcats.
Yeah, defensively has been in the right areas at the right times in that first half, when I think, you know, Kentucky had some spells of really looking ahead.
Kentucky back line. I'm going to see if they can get a pass forward and open things up. It's Truitt receiving it back from Phil Potts.
Go, West Virginia starting to close in. You know, and both of these teams are, you know, favor, you know, some of that possession game. It becomes like a game of chess, I think, in the middle of the park. Not just that battle that's physical, but that battle that ends up being a little bit more psychological.
Somehow that ball stayed in and continues to stay in on the right side of the field here. Michaela Woods trying to get onto it. There's Leslie coming forward, and now it goes out of play. We've got more subs coming in and out for both teams. Bookhard coming out back on for Strickland. Looks like Schupel will come back in for Emma Dodson.
Yeah, Schupel will be tasked with just getting control of this game again, both in possession and going, you know, we've seen her do it so well. Also, how she's picked up a yellow card is going being a ball winner.
Matthijs and Schupel going 1v1 there, and eventually West Virginia wins it. DeRosa headed on. Schupel tries to win it down.
Goal well handled by DeRosa.
DeRosa and Matthijs exchanging the passes. Woods with a little feint there to get past Schertzer initially. Back to Matthijs. Matthijs puts it into the box. Curler back post. Out well is Mackenzie Smith.
Yeah, Mackenzie Smith yet again taking good command of her box and had the flight of that from the very beginning. Just too much of a float, I think.
Getting closer and closer to 80 minutes played in this game between these two teams.
Yeah, it's both teams showing each other a lot of respect throughout this game, and you know, it's been a lively crowd here this evening. They'll be hungry for a goal.
Ingleton resets to Smith, and you're right on. The goals coming in certainly ignited the crowd. Now everybody waiting expectantly, and the ebbs and flows of this beautiful game is always punctuated by these big plays. Maybe a potential one here for Taylor White. Does she have the pace? She does. White trying to get onto the right foot. Maddie Eastman, the substitute, coming in and winning that one.
Yeah, Eastman doing a good job there, despite being beaten on the original run, just covering back in that space.
And as soon as she makes that play, coming right back on is Grace Hoytink. So Eastman doing her work there at that outside back position.
Yeah, job done. Sydney Fink getting a well-earned rest there as well. Could have been the difference there at the front post not that long ago.
Tice trying to win that against Taylor White, and we've seen White pop up in so many different ways, holding the ball up like that, in over the back line. You just got to be aware of where she is at all times. There's McCarthy. Back to Koss. Gianna Koss on the charge forward. Heredia Beltran lays it off. McCarthy onto the left, driven in, poked away, not far away enough. Heredia Beltran left foot, Bookhard with a great block.
Yeah, really important there for Bookhart to do the work, get her feet together.
Schertzer lofted in. That one almost dropped right under the crossbar. And Josephson wheeling back. I don't think she expected that one to go toward frame.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Schertzer did either. But I think she had it covered. You just never know with Schertzer.
That's one of those freaky ones that I think, like you said, Schertzer probably trying to curl that more as a cross, and it just sort of hangs up there. And Schertzer has one, so why not another? Race wins that initial header. Truitt popped back away, and now Taylor White onto it. White lays it off. McCarthy. Now Heredia Beltran. Curled back post a little too far over everybody's head there.
Just a little bit too deep, and White may get this, and she does.
What an effort there by Taylor White. Bookhart draped all over her there. And Michaela Woods coming all the way back.
Kentucky with every player in the defensive third at the moment. Michaela Woods slowly making her way back, higher up the pitch.
And now West Virginia going back to their back line. They've got some space without Woods putting any pressure on there.
Important here for Kentucky. You know, a bad habit they've had in this game is just letting themselves drift further and further toward their own goal and avoid that pressure. Got to keep some pressure, you know, going forward and a little bit higher in this game.
Some high press here from the Mountaineers trying to win it back. And they do. Schupel into McCarthy. McCarthy not with a lot of options forward.
All right, just patiently waiting.
Olivia Schertzer again. Going against Bookhart and Hoytink now. Trying to pull it back. There's Grace Hoytink on the intervention. Matthijs looking for Woods, but once again, Annika Leslie in the way.
Again, a lot of Kentucky players just standing around, wondering who's going to be the one that makes the run. No one really taking responsibility.
And Respass dropping all the way back there for West Virginia, winning it back off of Bookhart. And like you said, it just seemed a little slow as the Wildcats won possession back and couldn't find a pass.
Yeah, we're getting into these final 7 minutes here. Keeping the energy high. You know, both these teams, you know, if they can save it, will not want to go in a first round. Go and do a full sort of whack into overtime.
Troy Fabiano looks on, and he looks on at the first NCAA tournament appearance in a decade for this Kentucky Wildcats team. They have not made it past that round of 16 in their program history. Really hoping for that first tournament win in 10 years as well. And Sydney Fink checking in for the Wildcats once again. Sounds like Troy Fabiano heard you about that energy, trying to get a little more injection of that pace and that aggressiveness from Sydney Fink.
Yeah, you got to bring on some gamblers in that final third, and people that are willing to go and make a run, that are going to go and win the ball back for you in a dangerous area.
Koss curls it in. It's dropped down to Race. Now Kemp and DeRosa exchanging, and Michaela Woods holding it up on Ingleton. A little more possession there from the Wildcats, finally able to try and break out. DeRosa.
Good, DeRosa's done really well here in these last couple of minutes. Going, being brave, getting herself on the ball.
Moscow intercepted there, given away to Taylor White. White sees Race making the run. JC Race back to the left foot. Curler, crossbar, headed down. Rest pass right into the stomach of Mars Josephson. What a great run by Taylor White and the layoff on that pass to JC Race.
Yeah, it does really well. They're ready for anything that happens, and watch the way they follow in. Respass doesn't give up on it. Earlier moment there, just Kentucky being sloppy in possession of the ball. But credit to West Virginia, they're stepping into this game. They do not want to go the whole hog here.
Race hitting the crossbar. We've seen DeRosa for the Wildcats hit the crossbar. Big chances for both of these teams from outside of the box. Here's Heredia Beltran on the run. Rest pass makes the run off of it. Rest pass drives it. Josephson saves it. Another save, and it's cleared out now by the Wildcats.
Huge save from Josephson. Makes the first one, gets herself back on her feet, and makes the second.
Mars Josephson coming up huge here in the last 5 minutes of this match.
Kentucky just can't get a grip of themselves at the moment, and West Virginia trying desperately to capitalize on some of the dislocation that they found themselves in.
West Virginia, see the confidence here. The center back, Leslie, bringing the ball up the field. What a smart play there from Heredia Beltran to lay it off to Rest pass for the initial shot. Here's Woods with a little space. Going at Olivia Schertzer. Oh, and Fink was open there on the far side. It's given back to DeRosa, though. DeRosa around to Hoytink. Now Wildcats trying to open things up. Hoytink driven. Sydney Fink trying to get there. Can't quite get the foot to it. Kemp lays it down to Moscow. Moscow likes to have a shot from outside. That one not as on frame as the Catherine DeRosa effort earlier.
Can we get a second look here? Rest pass trying to pick that far corner. Josephson delivers the first one and takes every bit of a hit going in right across the face. God, that's some brave goalkeeping, and those are the sort of moments that keep you in the game.
Brave was the exact word that I was thinking of, Gavin. To go in there with a forward bearing down on you, knowing you're going to absorb that punishment. Mars Josephson keeping Kentucky in this game here at the late stage. Mallory Glass just checked on for the Wildcats, as did Abby Alexa for the Mountaineers. Here's Mallory Glass getting her first touch after subbing on. Now Fink, a lot of room to go at Olivia Schertzer. Fink trying to use the pace. Schertzer and Fink pulling one another, no foul.
Good Fink. Fink maybe too honest there as she deals with that contact from Schertzer.
Now Kentucky, we saw so much possession from West Virginia in the past 5-10 minutes or so. Now Wildcats further up the field. Hoytink, a ton of space to run into. Now going herself, Hoytink front post. And again, that's that front post save. You've got to get down to it as a goalkeeper, and Mackenzie Smith did.
Yeah, a little bit better energy from Kentucky. Getting the ball down, moving quickly into those advanced areas and making use of the space that West Virginia are leaving. You know, as they're leaving 2, 3, 4 players up a little bit higher trying to chase this game.
We talked about the ebbs and flows, and it's again, these punctuations of attacks, both teams taking their turns, that gets the fans excited every once in a while here, Gavin. And you see the final score of Notre Dame and Milwaukee. That's who awaits either of these teams, whoever the winner is.
And certainly that home advantage here for Kentucky in these last few minutes, and you know, with overtime kind of sitting on the horizon maybe for us here, is the kind of thing that, you know, can really help a team here when they're struggling.
Schertzer crossed in. Great looking header. Mars Josephson with the superwoman save, outstretched there. And right past the head of Taylor White. 2 minutes left to play in regulation.
She's been tremendous and continues to be a really, really forceful last line of defense here for Kentucky Wildcats.
Alexa bringing it down. Shields off Truitt there. Alexa, curler, back post. Philpotts and Heredia Beltran jostling there, and it's going to be a throw in here for the Mountaineers.
Good, well read by Philpotts. Just had to deal with it. Anywhere was going to be good.
Alicia Riggins coming on here for Taylor White. I did see White talking with the coaching staff a little bit there. Maybe picked up a little bit of a knock. Or maybe just a last-minute gasp here for West Virginia trying something different.
I think the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with Taylor White for 90 seconds before you step on into maybe some overtime. Kentucky
trying to go on that far side and get up the line. Thailinda couldn't do anything with it. Gianna Koss will take the throw in here for the Mountaineers. Closing in on 1 minute left to go in the half. And in regulation, cross in, Moscow away.
Got really well dealt with by Moscow. Was facing the wrong way. DeRosa stepping in, trying to win that. Well dealt with again by West Virginia. They've won so many individual battles and tidied up first and second balls all over the park here the second half.
That one intended for Riggins. It's going to go off of a Wildcat. Corner kick coming here for the Mountaineers. What could be the last attempt for either team before we might face overtime here. We talk about how big set pieces are every single game. None bigger than this opportunity for the Mountaineers.
No, looking down the last 30 seconds, these are the kinds of upsets we see all the time in college soccer. And a deep ball.
And into the back post by McCarthy. Michaela Woods wins it, and Michaela Woods is on the charge. She's got 3 Mountaineers to beat, though.
And shirts are down just to slow things up. I think that could see us all the way through to the end.
Certainly, as the ball runs out of play here, we are destined for overtime in this NCAA tournament matchup. We have 2 periods of 10 minutes of overtime between these teams coming, unless a goal is scored in one of those overtimes. It is golden goal, sudden victory. To that tournament that happens in March here. 64 teams competing that are able to make it into this tournament. And we've got 2 fine ones on display tonight as West Virginia gets it kicked off. Again, 10 minutes in this first period of overtime, and then we'll have another 10 if there are no goals scored. However, it is sudden victory. Golden goal, as many soccer fans know it. I'm Josh Brown, again with Gavin Colton, here to guide you the rest of the way. We've had such a fun time so far.
And this trademark patient possession from coaches our Browns group here.
Angleton going long, looking direct there, and Phil Potts swinging it across now to Hoytink.
We're going late into a Friday evening for Kentucky fans at home and here in the stadium.
And a little extra time for that money.
I spoke to a young, enthusiastic Kentucky fan, Erin Parks, who lives in Arlington, Virginia during the week, and it assures me that someday she will come and play at the University of Kentucky. And she's at home watching, I know, tonight, and is, a big fan of a lot of these players and watches as many games as she can. And she's a bright star to look out in the future.
Oh, it's so great to hear where people are watching from. All over the country, all over the globe, really. You never know where people are watching from with so much international flavor in some of these teams as well. You can have folks watching from a lot of Nordic countries we've seen over the years with both of these programs. And then Canadian as well. Mm-hmm. We mentioned the 2 Canadians in the back line for West Virginia. Driven in by Kentucky, looking for this last goal, this winning goal for both of these teams. Schupel clearly pulled down by Kemp there.
Schupel done a great job all game of going winning those first balls and being available for the second balls. Kemp not terribly pleased with our referee and making way for Mallory Glass here.
Yeah, Glass coming right in here at the start of this first period of overtime.
Glass was a player I saw when she was a junior in high school. I was here in ID camp and was a real standout then, and great to see the sort of track from her time coming in, pre-recruitment. Now sort of looking at an NCAA tournament, these are pretty serious and inspiring careers that these young women are having here at these 2 universities. Really tidy piece of play there from McCarthy.
Yeah, absolutely. McCarthy with the flick over there. And to your point about Glass being from Kentucky, I always think it's so cool to have in-state players that come to your program. I think you mentioned the young fan earlier. You get players that want to aspire and play in their home state. Mallory Glass, one of those, played for Racing Louisville Academy, Sacred Heart here in Kentucky. Catherine Truitt from Lexington Catholic in the back line for Kentucky tonight. And West Virginia having some players hailing from West Virginia pretty close to the university as well. We mentioned Emma Dotson earlier.
Taylor White, Cincinnati, Ohio, not too far away, just a short jaunt down the highway.
I would assume some family in the stands tonight, about an hour and a half drive. Here's the turn from McCarthy. Heredia Beltran.
Good, tidy touch, difficult ball to deal with.
Back to Gianna Koss. That header, kind of an interesting floated one there. Just trying to get underneath of it was J.C. Race.
And West Virginia, in comparison to Kentucky, when they get into those advanced areas, they're so committed to producing. Got to produce a cross, got to get something in. It doesn't need to be perfect. You got to send something into the box. Kentucky look like they'll go long here.
That one drifted over.
Great win by Schupel.
It bounces back the Wildcats' way after that initial win. Here's Bookhart, and Schupel again in strong foot.
Yeah, Bookhart beats that first press. Beats that first play and just needs to walk herself into that next pass. Not try and do too much. She's got Michaela Woods around her. She's got Mallory Glass just sitting in behind her. Can't give up possession too easily here and just invite pressure for the next 5 minutes.
Here's Mackenzie Smith restarting that possession. And this has been kind of the theme here of the end of that second half. West Virginia very patient and looking for the attack. Here's Alexa, left-footed drive. That one over the top. We've seen so many right over that crossbar here in this game.
Good, great combination here. Alexa almost just squeezing that under the bar, and again trying to make life difficult there for Josephson. But when we start back and we look a little bit earlier in that run of play, if you don't stop it here, you don't get real pressure, it's too easy for them to advance into those more dangerous areas. Woods, I think DeRosa needs to get onto some of these players about being the sort of enthusiastic beginners of that press and making life difficult for West Virginia.
You see West Virginia go all the way back now, to your point. They'll play it back to the goalkeeper, Smith, and then it's a reset, and no pressure on these center backs, or sometimes even the outside backs coming forward.
And you've got a Kentucky back forward, two center backs that are sitting almost on their 18-yard box, and that just creates a lot of space for an extremely possession-minded team in West Virginia to be able to find gaps and find holes.
Philpott's trying to come forward, finds it to Matthijs. Looked for Tylenda there. Ingleton's going to be able to get to that.
Good, really well done by Ingleton.
Still Ingleton. And Koss getting to it before Philpott's there. Now one back by the Wildcats, but somehow Ingleton comes back up with it. Great ball out to Heredia Beltran.
But Truth just trying to slow her down.
Back post. Hoytink. A lot of pressure there from Jordan Wilson. Was able to clear it initially. Here's McCarthy. Drop down. Alexa again. Josephson fingertips. Again, Mars Josephson stepping up big in this overtime period like she did in that second half.
Because she has been so important for Kentucky here the last 30-40 minutes. And I'll say Grace Philpotts does a great job once that ball's rolled across to understand where the run of Heredia Beltran is coming off her right shoulder.
Alexa again popping up in that box. She has been so active here as a substitute for West Virginia tonight and has had big chances that Mars Josephson has simply denied so far. DeRosa, pressure on. There's Alexa again. Ingleton dribbling forward and winning it. Race. And Alexa trying to exchange. No foul there from Soren Stosha. Maybe a little collision in midfield.
Good. Here's an opportunity for Kentucky to look forward and be positive.
Tylenda drops it back. DeRosa. Again, getting that little pressure from Alexa. Matthijs is not able to find any option there. Eventually squeaks its way through to DeRosa. Glass. Out to Tylenda with some space. Alexis Tylenda dropped to Matthijs. First time ball in. Bookhart going up, colliding with Schertzer. Now Hoytink.
Hoytink high up on the right-hand side.
Driven ball away once again by this West Virginia backline. DeRosa floats it up there. Smith easily catches it. Take a look at this last opportunity for Alexa.
The ball Alexa does a fantastic job, able to turn all the way and get a shot, a little bit off balance. And she spoke about Philpotts doing a really great job there, using her body, guiding that ball out.
Certainly the Josephson save, a big highlight there. But you're right on. That shield from Philpotts may be overlooked on the tape after the game, but Heredia Beltran had an easy tap in if she's not there.
Yeah, we've seen here late into this game, Philpotts not as committed to getting up higher as we saw in those, opening 20-30 minutes. A little bit more concerned with making sure that their things are shored up back on home base there. West Virginia comfortable here in what they're doing, both in possession, out of possession.
Schupel around to Gianna Koss. In defeat, Heredia Beltran trying to return it. Race turning, dispossessed by Catherine Truitt, and now Bookhart with a little space. She sees Michaela Woods over the top. That one too far even for Michaela Woods.
And I tell you, when players on the field, just as they hear that minute, as Bookhart receives the ball, I think it's important you realize you don't have the cavalry there to get yourself forward. Slow the game down. Make sure that you don't lose the ball in the next 10-15 seconds and invite one last push from a very comfortable West Virginia here.
20 seconds to go in this first overtime period. Got another 10 coming unless there's a last-second goal here from either team. Matthijs. 10 seconds now. Philpotts just sends it long. Woods trying to get onto it. And a little tangle there between Woods and Annika Leslie, and we will have a second overtime period here.
Alexis staying in there. So late in the game, you got some tired legs. Having somebody that can hold up the ball like she can is just such an asset.
DeRosa around to Hoytink. Wildcats, as mentioned, Gavin, going to try and maybe press here at the start of this second overtime period. Philpotts into DeRosa. DeRosa, oh man, that's one of those passes we've seen with the Wildcats here in the second half, and now these overtime periods. Just a little bit slow roller back in a dangerous position.
Good, that's what I call a hospital pass.
Philpotts in defeat to Matthijs. Now out to Sydney Fink, the substitute. Fink looking for Woods. Ingleton is there, but a throw-in here in the attacking third for the Wildcats.
Yeah, a bit more promising there from Kentucky. That final ball there got to be played with pace. All through that second half, just those slow, trickling passes. Got players here at the highest level with a great first touch. Go and make them work.
Gianna Koss ready to take the throw-in. See a few Wildcat faithful behind the fence there. Usually we'll get some people out in the outfield there on the other side. Moscow into Tanner Strickland.
Yeah, Strickland did very well in a tight area there.
Josephson just flails that one away. Alexa onside. No, check that. That was Race, and she was offside. Came back from an offside position, so it'll be a free kick coming for the Wildcats.
Good tidy call from a referee or linesman out on that far side.
Glass into Tanner Strickland. Strickland trying to be that impact substitute for the Wildcats here at the end of this game.
Good again. When Michaela Woods checks into that space and the ball doesn't come, that's her cue to go and get beyond again and let Strickland play the ball into some space to run on. Michaela Woods doesn't lose many foot races out there.
Throw in taken. Here's Tanner Strickland. Tried to curl that one into the box. It's going to go out for a goal kick here for West Virginia.
Good, they've got to produce. I spoke about when they get into those advanced areas, they're limited, whether it's tied legs or just lacking in creativity to go and break down what they're seeing in front of them in West Virginia. They have to be able to produce when they get into advanced areas. The yellow card may be coming for a goalkeeper here, or just a first warning.
I believe that is the first time we've seen any kind of delay on a restart like this. Soren Stosha.
Yeah, Mackenzie Smith, a little bit baffled. Something tells me West Virginia's not trying to slow down this game and take this to penalty kicks.
Right. Seemed like that first overtime period, West Virginia was pressing for it, so I don't think intentionally trying to slow the game down, but either way, Mackenzie Smith gets the talking to.
Sure, it's a strong moment there. Great win, great retaining of possession.
J.C. Race, through ball there to Wilson.
Good, and there's that ball that gets him behind and asks the question of Kentucky.
Jordan Wilson twisting and turning. Drops it back, Schupel. All the way around here to Giannikos, the right back.
Good, Lily McCarthy just dropping into that little area, trying to find her way onto it.
Sydney Fink back to Philpotts. Now a throw-in coming for the Wildcats. Philpotts looking for a run here. Now a throw-in for the Mountaineers. Big substitutes coming on for both teams. Alexis Tylenda for the Wildcats and Taylor White for the Mountaineers.
It's a long run for Fink from that left-hand flank.
We've seen both of these players, Tylenda and White, score goals at crucial times for both the Mountaineers and Wildcats. Tylenda has 2 game-winning goals this season. Here's McCarthy. Right-footed cross into the hands of Josephson.
Yeah, into the very safe hands of Josephson. And Alexa just getting in front of Josephson there, stopping anything that was going to be quick and avoiding the scrutiny of the referee.
Seen that more and more these days. Players crowding the goalkeeper before they can punt it or throw it. And, referees are letting that go more and more, it seems.
There tends to be a fine line between what's getting in the way and what's just sort of circumstantial.
Yes.
Good. That's a better ball there for Kentucky, looking to get beyond.
And Woods able to win that throw-in now in the corner of the field. Tanner Strickland coming over to take it. Into Hoytink. Back to Strickland. Strickland crosses in, bounces across the box, left-footed stab at it from Philpotts, and not a bad effort there.
Good, much better there. Strickland gets herself, beats that first player, and then delivers across. Doesn't dilly-dally. And I spoke about Philpotts getting higher and higher up the field. Can you impact things in the way that we know you can and expect you to on that far post and trying to get involved?
That one always a difficult one to reach out with the outside of the left foot.
It's a problem with lefties. Lefties are always so good at their left that there's a right that's left wanting.
As a reminder, golden goal here. So if you're just tuning in and you're like, hey, the Wildcats are playing in the tournament and it's overtime, any goal will do for either team for the win. Here's Tanner Strickland. Looking for that. Looking for Tylenda. That one just a little too hot to the far side.
Good. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Get just slowing down. See the space. Go take it up. West Virginia happy to be able to get themselves organized here.
Coming up on 4 minutes to go in this second overtime period. Tylenda with a karate takedown there on the far side. Leg lock, it looked like. Maybe some Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the corner of the field. You had some boxing references earlier, so, just keeping the theme going.
It all works. Tonight's the night for it.
Mackenzie Smith will bomb this one away. Now West Virginia with that possession once again.
Good. They do a great job, between Stupel and Lily McCarthy in there. They recognize space and they stretch this Kentucky team so well so that they can play some of those clever balls into Alexa and into J.C. Race.
Schertzer looking for some type of run forward. Now finds it from Schupel. Hard collision there between Schupel and Glass in midfield. And Moscow now just drives it upfield. That one stays in play. Leslie with a little pressure there from Michaela Woods. Strickland past Schupel. Still Tanner Strickland. Strickland across to Tylenda. Wants the right foot, Tylenda. That one lofted a little bit too much, and Smith makes it look easy.
Go really well done. Mallory Glass a couple of times now has just been that little connector who has either won a ball or has been a good little bounce to be able to get out of a tight area.
Tylenda had a difficult shot with that position with the right foot too. You could tell she was trying to work it in that direction, not a lot of space.
Never really got a step on it.
Tylenda with Koss on the defensive end.
Good, great turn.
Trying to go direct for Michaela Woods and headed away once again by Leslie. Good touch there from McCarthy.
Good, Troy Fabiano just urging his team back.
And Hoytink with the shield against Taylor White. Not easily done.
Good, and now's the time to use it. Well played by referee, a little bit of advantage. Brought it back.
Great run there from Grace Hoytink to win it initially and drive forward. And she and Phil Potts are certainly tireless. It helps to get them a sub, but I think they could run a full 110 minutes if they needed to.
We may find out.
Phil Potts in the direction of Woods. Woods, right foot, deflected out. And another corner kick here. It'll be Wildcats with Phil Potts on the left-footed service with a minute and a half left to play.
Yeah, great deep early ball. Michaela Woods doing what she does best, using her body well. Unlucky there to clip that ball off a West Virginia knee.
The Phil Potts service we know is so dangerous, Gavin.
Expect a big in-swinger here. Needs to beat that first defender, and does.
Headed away by West Virginia.
Good, DeRosa, important that she won that.
Wins it again. Back to Moscow. Moscow lofts it up. Can Tanner Strickland get there? She does. Strickland trying to go 1v1. Ingleton wins it. Now Phil Potts.
And Kentucky bodies in the box. And here's DeRosa. We know she can hit them.
DeRosa, curler, an assist perhaps just wide. And it was Mallory Glass almost making a huge impact off the bench. What a ball from DeRosa.
Great ball. And Mallory Glass finds herself in an acre of space at the top of the 6-yard box, and you're maybe not used to being in those areas, quite so high up and what I call nosebleed territory.
The Kentucky kid almost made it a Kentucky win for the first time in 10 years in this NCAA tournament. The time counts down, and we have penalty kicks coming, Gavin.
Making sure they're in control of when this penalty gets taken, not the player. Josephson reminded again to stay on her line.
Ingleton puts it home. What a hand from Josephson, but it was too strong from Ingleton.
Good, encouraging as a goalkeeper to be able to get anything on it, and well-placed penalty toward that corner. Really, really close, and we see Josephson, the passion that she'll have, that will lift her, knowing that she has touched one of these and gotten close. And next we have Michaela Woods stepping forward again with the walk.
Michaela Woods 3 for 3 from the penalty spot for the Wildcats in the regular season this year.
Herforth again stepping forward. Some of those mind games that goalkeepers love. Woods turning her back.
Soren Stosha, the center referee, overlooking things here. Herforth eventually takes the steps back. Michaela Woods with one of the longest run-ups. We've seen her do this before. Woods, the slow walk up, and puts it home. Completely put Herforth the other way. Michaela Woods, it may be a unique run-up / walk-up, Gavin, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, cool as you want. We see her eyes are up until the last moment there. Very, very tidy finish. Cool as you like.
Michaela Woods staying perfect from the penalty spot this season.
Mackenzie Smith. Oh, sorry,
Chloe Adler.
Yeah, Josephson looking to get a fuller hand on Adler's ball here.
Chloe Adler is stopped by Mars Josephson, but she came off her line. The assistant referee with the flag up. We will have a retake here.
I'd say that's tight.
So according to Soren Stosha and the assistant referee there, Mars Josephson off of her line before the kick was taken. Chloe Adler gets another shot at this one. Adler saved again! Josephson!
And we see the nodding head of our assistant referee on that line, telling her that is checked, and so much pressure when you've missed the first one and you get an opportunity to take another one. Do you go the same way? Do you make a different decision? And what looked like a penalty of indecision there from Adler.
Josephson, who has had so many huge saves in the second half for this Wildcats team, really kept them in it with a lot of chances for the Mountaineers. Does it again from the spot. It's Michelle Moscow now up, the freshman, to take a penalty for the Wildcats, their second so far. Moscow blasts it home.
At that same area, that same left side. And a big smile, knowing that there's a little bit of daylight, just a little bit of daylight here early on, with 2 penalties taken either way.
Annika Leslie, we've mentioned dangerous offset pieces. I think both you and I would have had in mind Leslie as a spot kick taker here. The left footer will step up to the spot and see if she can keep West Virginia in this one after Chloe Adler's miss on the last attempt. Leslie puts it home, curled nicely.
It's a popular spot, that left side.
Leslie, you said cool as you like for an earlier one. That one, calm, cool, and collected, is the senior.
Yeah, go picks her spot, hammers it home.
She's used to the cold conditions, the native of Nova Scotia. And it is a best of 5, remember that. So if Kentucky makes this, they are in the lead by 1 goal with 3 kicks taken for each of these. It'll be Grace Hoytink coming up for this one. Hoytink, such an impact defender this season. The sophomore from Wisconsin.
That straight run up that's so hard for goalkeepers to read.
Oh, and just slides it underneath Bailey Herfurth. Grace Hoytink, you'll take it any way that it happens.
Yeah, the only good penalty kick is the penalty kick that goes in.
Herfurth guesses the right way, just too low there. Just couldn't quite get to that one.
Sometimes, there can be that can be sometimes a downside of bringing on a goalkeeper last minute that hasn't been involved for the 110 minutes that they've been involved in.
Ajane Rezpass, the impact forward to step up. Rezpass off the post and out. It's Josephson again.
And this penalty from Kentucky to win. And we saw she got it. She got the earlier. Josephson got the earlier hand and didn't quite keep that ball out. And there's another one that just pinballs from the post back onto her, and she has to, check herself to get as excited as she does.
We have seen Josephson step up from the penalty area before in penalty shootouts. Against LSU in the SEC tournament last season, she shows again the quality from this huge impact player for the Wildcats, Mars Josephson. Bailey Herfurth hoping she can make a big impact as the penalty stopper. It's Sophia Matthijs to win it for the Wildcats if she makes this one. And the crowd unhappy with Herfurth there. A big yellow card going up behind the net, and Herfurth gets the real yellow card from Soren Stosha. A little bit too much delay there. You can see the big yellow card there from Big Blue Nation. Matthijs to ice it. Matthijs does it! And the Wildcats with the first win in NCAA